Welcome back. And this training is the real source. Again, just wish that someone had really drilled into me how important this aspect was. And I guess to some extent, I had to really go through this work to discover the real source, my source, because whilst in the last training we explored the space between where you are and where you want to be, this is about creating your bridge to that destination, your beautiful bridge, however it might look. Discovering and designing a system that really works for you and not one that works against your nature, particularly as women, right? We have been brought up in a very masculine way of being on 24-hour set clocks, whereas our clocks are just not built that way. And every single person has different energy, different things going on in life, different phases. And so this is your permission slip, which I hope that you will literally take from me and frame and stick it up somewhere to figure out what works for you and give yourself permission to adjust that as life is thrown at you, right? We are, again, built up in a society that gives the impression that we have a lot of control over things. And really, the only thing we have control over is how we use what happens outside of us. So there is no right or wrong other than that is yours. Okay. And so this is where this work is so essential. Understanding your values, your motivations, what you want to experience, how you feel about yourself, all of these things, all of these things. But I do want to keep this into a short and powerful training. So the real source is your source, your secret ingredients, whatever that looks like. Maybe that's embracing more of your silliness that you've been holding back for fear of judgment. Or maybe it is permission to say what you truly want. And I'm not going to say that there might not be people that have opinions on that, because there will be. There will be. But as a magnet operates, there will be some people that get it and love it and others that don't. And the trouble is with being neutral and trying to have the source that everyone likes is that no one's like, people will be happy to let the source go and go without the source. We don't want that for you. We want people that are going to absolutely adore your source and you enjoy making it. Yeah. Adapting it, whatever that looks like for you. So first and foremost, we have to ditch the one size fits all, the templates that are, step by step. Of course, you can take what you like and let go of what you don't like. There is a lot of amazing information out there, more than ever. And I'm not saying some of it's not helpful, but it's not putting everything into it. It's permission to say, actually, I like that aspect. No, I don't like that aspect. And feeling what that feels like within you. Now, it's interesting because whilst there'll be things that don't resonate, there's ways that you can change your energy and help things feel more inviting, exciting, resonant with you. And so there's a fine line really of embracing more of your source or seeing where there may be unhelpful stories or just initial feelings that are just different motivation, right? Because just a change in words, even just adding one word, can change how you feel about it. So that is quite a big subject in and of itself. But I really want you to realize that the strategy is only a tiny percentage of your success. It is about the energy behind it and how it makes you feel. You think about those people that you buy from, that you enjoy consuming from on social media, whatever it may be. It's not their product, it's the experience, it's how they make you feel. And that in turn is dictated by how they feel about themselves and what they're offering. So I invite you to begin noticing what feels good for you and what drains you. It's actually not so much about discipline. And it was interesting, I was having this conversation with my friend the other day, because I believe that discipline can really help you ingrain those habits and such like. And it's essentially, it's an underlying commitment to yourself. But if you can work on that desire, you are much more likely to go and do the thing. We're much more likely to do what we want to do over what we need to do. So building on that desire for your discipline, for your deeper alignment, is going to be an absolute game changer. So ask yourself, where in my life am I trying to force myself to fit into a mold that was never made for me? And we get to then start building our personal framework. Have a think about what works for you. Like in an ideal world, what are your working days? Like when do you feel more energetic, more into your work? Is it with people, on your own, at home, somewhere else? Is it certain times of the month? Is it at certain times of the year? Like give yourself permission to play. Be creative with this intuitive structure. You don't have to go and make it all happen now, but just play. See how it feels. Bit of trial and error. Match your energy. Like there's some tasks that just like repulse you. Like, truth be told, should you be finding a way to do less of those and more of the stuff that you love? More of the needle turning activities, as they'd say. The amount of people I've had in my world, including myself, that decide to get a cleaner because either they were just not very good at it or they never did it. But it made such a difference to the space they were in and how they were feeling about themselves and how they could focus on their business. And again, subconsciously saying, I'm worth it. I'm not saying that's going to be for everyone, but it could be as simple as asking for help. Childcare help, maybe doing an exchange with that. Again, I know early days because I started my business when I just had my little boy. I said, well, how do I work with this little person? Like at first it's fine till he started moving. And then I was like, eh. And I felt like I wasn't doing either job very well. And that was not why I did my business. My business was there so I could work around my family. And so I had to change my stories around working in the evening. And it just immediately shifted how I felt and immediately shifted how I showed up. Yeah. So honor your energy fluctuations, your lifestyle realities, set yourself up so it feels like you are doing more of what you want to be doing. And I guarantee that you feeling that way will help you in having more of those moments. Yeah. And again, as humans, we kind of been taught to focus on all the things that we've not done or not achieved, when actually, if you actually took the time out every day to talk about what you did do, what you did achieve, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. You'd be taking time to acknowledge, and it would feel very different to looking at all the stuff that you've not done, right? So I encourage experimentation over perfection. I encourage honoring yourself and your needs, slowing down when you need to slow down, because trying to forge your way through it is not the answer. Again, I can speak from experience, both myself and my clients. And if you don't listen now, if you're like heading towards burnout and trying to just survive through it, your body will make you stop and it won't give you a choice. So it's really important to nurture yourself, listen to your body, because if you took that time to listen, it would tell you what it needs, and it might not be very convenient, but it is necessary. So the source isn't the structure, the strategy. it is how it feels to live in it. So ask yourself, what has worked for me in the past and what hasn't, and why? And when do I feel most like myself? When do I feel most alive? When I feel most free, powerful, whatever it may be. And it will start to give you an insight into how you love to work. I personally love connecting with other people. I love doing the work myself. I love learning as well. It's a massive part of like what I do, but I'm not now learning from a place of scarcity and not enoughness. I'm learning just because I enjoy learning, right? So really, really powerful. And then remember, it really is in the small actions that add up to big shifts. Those big shifts you think you see in other people, they weren't just big shifts. They were usually multiple little shifts before a big shift. Maybe fast, but nonetheless, there were little shifts in that. So bring it back to little changes, little moments, and honor your capacity without feeling like you're going to, collapse essentially. And think about how you can make simple, sustainable rituals and changes rather than performative stuff. The source is not rigid, it's flexible. Where you're going to pour it, where is it going to be appreciated, and enjoy that evolution of the source as well, right? You don't need to have it perfected, but the more you put your own sprinkle in there, the more other people will really enjoy it. So your how you go about your day to day with your strategy, with your source, is something that should really just feel like oh yes, yeah. So ask yourself, what would a system feel like that actually supports me? What would it allow me to stop doing? Because the way forward is built one choice at a time, one decision at a time. It's not about the perfect plan. It's about your recipe and being playful with creating that recipe that really just it's delicious, scrumptious. That is your sauce. And in our next training, we are going to look at ways that we get in our own way and why we don't need to beat ourselves up about it. But until then, enjoy finding more of your inner rhythm. And yeah, that's where the magic is. Remembering that your rhythm can change. And your last question. What if I have everything I already need and I just needed permission to do it my way? All right. Bye for now.